What's good, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again. Hey, I want to say happy birthday to hip hop. You know, today is quote unquote the birthday of hip hop. Um, you know, I was raised in that era. You know what I mean? I seen the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's really the only music I ever listened to, that I ever loved. You know what I mean? I never had like a rock phase or anything like that. When I started listening to music, I remember the first album I bought was Public Enemy. The joint that had my '98 Oldsmobile. I think it must have been the first one. I remember that shit like yesterday. I was sort of fucking listening to that joint. Um, you know, it's gone through some changes. I remember back in the day. I remember KRS-One versus Shan. I remember the bridge. I remember the bridge is over. You know what I'm saying? I remember Eric B. and Rock Camp. You know what I mean? Microphone Fiend. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. Remember when LL, when he's standing on top of the whip. You know what I mean? The Pumas. You know what I mean? Puma D. I remember all that shit, man. You know what I mean? It was when it was fresh, when it was new, man. It was something to behold, man. You know, and I loved it for that. You know, it was my parents did, my dad didn't like it. You know what I mean? My parents did. They were like, "Oh, what the hell is this shit?" You know what I mean? But it's new. You know what I mean? And the greatest ally got their hands into it and fucked the hell all shit up. You know what I mean? I think it really went left. I think when during the fucking it had some dips, ups and downs. You know, I might have the timeline messed up. But, I think it kind of went left. You know, because it always had this conscious part, because KRS-One came in there, you know what I mean? So there was a little this conscious effort, and it really started to veer that way, you know what I mean? X-Clan came out, you know what I mean? What was it? Jungle Brothers, you know what I'm saying? Brand Nubians, you know what I'm saying? So it was starting to veer that way. And then I think you saw a difference in Black America, you know what I mean? Because you had people that was trying to be down with it, you know what I'm saying? When people talking that God body and shit, you know what I'm saying? Wearing Africa joints, you know what I'm saying? That shit was hot back then. You know what I mean? African medallions. That's why I remember that whole era, man. You know what I mean? It kind of went left, man, because, the man came in and said, oh, Jimmy Iovine and them niggas. Dr. Dre and them niggas. He went to the gangster rap and it didn't look back for fucking a couple decades, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I didn't listen to NWA, Above the Law, Snoop. I listened to them. I listened to Ice Cube. Ice Cube was one of my favorite for a while, man. I really like Ice Cube because he told he told about the greatest ally too. You know what I mean? He kept it 100. You know what I mean? I think I want to say politically correct. He knew what boundaries he could cross and he couldn't cross. You know what I mean? Sometimes he did, and sometimes he didn't. You know what I mean? Like, he was cool with the nation, and then he like backed off Khalid. You know what I mean? And it went kind of crazy. But I was fans for Ice Cube for a minute. You know what I mean? And then he had New York came back. You know what I mean? Nas and them came. Nas, and I like Nas too. You know what I mean? Like his second album, that's probably still my favorite album of all time. You know what I'm saying? Then Jay had his run. I still think he's the most overrated. I don't get it, man. I do. You know what I mean? He's contrived, like Beyonce is contrived. That's why I don't have. Don't get it wrong. Hove is a good rapper. He is not as good as you put other people in this era against him, man. Like you could put. Just remember, you got Wu-Tang, you got Ghostface, you got Nas, you got a whole bunch of other cats. They was blowing his shit out the water, man. They still do. I got Ghost over Hove, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think he had so many. I think the powers that be, if you want to put the brackets around it, you know what I mean. They took Hove and managed his career. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what, they controlled him. I mean, he come off as, this, you know, entrepreneur, hustler, Negro, whatever you want to call it. But in my opinion, him and Beyonce, that's the most staged arrangement I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm talking career too. I'm not just talking marriage. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, then then the South took over, and they've had a hell of a run. They still running with it, but I mean, it's kind of lessening off now because some of them cats is cool. Future, I mess with Future. You had the Jeezys, the T.I.s, the Gucci's. I never really fucked with Gucci. I remember, listen, I'm gonna tell you a story. I was in Air Force back then, and I was listening to Big. I don't know how I forgot Biggie and shit, but I was listening to Big, and all of them cats was Pac fans. I was down in Georgia. I was like, man, fuck Pac. It was different back then. Like, you didn't like both of them. You know what I mean? You liked one or the other. You weren't fucking with Tupac and Biggie. You either fuck with Biggie or fuck with Pac, man. I was down there in the trenches. It was me and this other dude from Philly. We was the only people that rode with Biggie. Everybody else was like from Kentucky, Texas, down Georgia. It was all that Tupac. Every time Tupac dropped a track, them cats was just beating off orgasm and shit. I'm like, what you shut up, his non-rapping ass. I still think that to this day. He's all right, but I mean, if it isn't that Machiavelli or All Eyes on Me, I'm not fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? But I went down there. I listened to this dude from Texas. He put me on the 8 Ball and MJG and shit like that. Yeah, I was like, that's still one of my favorite groups. MJG and 8 Ball, Sitting on Top of the World. I think the album is. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. You know what I mean? I still got love for them, man. 8 Ball, MJG. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So South had to run. You know what I mean? And it's changed, man. Like, there's so much money got in hip hop. You know what I mean? And and I don't really listen to it as much as I used to. You know what I mean? I just bought. The first album I bought in a while was Sean Price, Imperious Rex. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Sean Price. You know what I mean? And he's one of my favorites. You know what I mean? So I like rap like that, man. You gotta have bars. Like in one of his songs, he was saying, you know what I mean? I come from the era where you really had to say something. You had to be nice with it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, as long as they say Sean P go in, I'm good with it. I'm all right with it. That's what Sean P said. And that's what I want to hear from rappers. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to hear, and it's not about, I mean, people will give these young kids a pass because they're making money. I mean, that's all cool. But, I mean, if you're making money and eroding your culture, then what good is that? Money ain't no good. All money ain't good money. This is where you can't tell black people that. You can't tell black people that, man. And that's why there's like 1 million people in jail, black brothers in jail right now, because they was out there selling that dope. Because they don't realize all money ain't good money. You know what I mean? So just because they're out there making this trash ass music and the kids is loving it, that doesn't mean it's good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it's good for the culture. What good is it if it's destroying your culture? If it's destroying our culture? You know what I mean? I wish that the people that are in it would take better care of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everything has to be super woke or anything like that, but there has to be a balance. You know what I mean? You have to have party stuff, but you have to have that woke shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? People calling Kendrick woke. Like, he doesn't even, like, it not for real, he doesn't even, you know what I mean? He's not even close to being it. He's like, if he would took him back to the 90s, he would just be running the mill type nigga. I'm just telling you. My favorite albums, I mean, it was written, I like new music too, Joe Budden. I like Mike Tyson, Sean Price. I do like the Blueprint, the from Hove Black album too. I like the Blueprint better. I like Stillmatic, Hip Hop Was Dead, Nonfiction, The Future Is Now. If you ever heard of Nonfiction, they only got one album. It was a group, bunch of white dudes from New York. But I'm telling you, the future is now. Go listen to it. Um, what else did I like? I like to listen to that 8 Ball, and MJG. You know what I mean? Siegel, The Truth. Um, there's just some of the albums that I felt like was Criminal Minded, KRS One. You know what I mean? That was back in the day. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's just changed. But those are my favorite albums. My top 5, man. I don't even know. My favorites is probably Nas. No typical. Well, wait. Probably Nas, Sean Price, Button. I like Ill Bill. I like Hove, Ghost. I don't know. That's about. I mean, Razzcast had some stuff, man. Some people have some stuff and they just fall off. You know what I mean? I like a whole bunch of stuff, but I mean, Happy Birthday to Hip Hop. You know what I mean? That's some of the stuff I remember. You know what I mean? I wish we could turn for better because music is a powerful medium. Yeah, if you have to realize, if the powers that be, our greatest allies, came in to control the music, they know what kind of power it can have. You know, I guarantee tomorrow, if the rappers started rapping about positive shit all the time, then the culture would change. I guarantee it would. You know what I mean? You don't even have a Stop the Violence song. I mean, we have Chicago acting like shit. You don't have a Stop the Violence. We had that back in like 91, 89, 91. All the West Coast people came together to make a anti-gang song and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't even have that shit no more. Y'all telling each other to shoot each other and shit. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, come on, man. We gotta think better. We gotta think it for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Rapping about killing each other, then crying about police brutality. That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? You just, like, it doesn't make sense to me at all. Y'all act like we're under siege and the black community is being exterminated or genocided when fucking 10 times the amount are getting killed by our own. And I think sometimes the music takes a part in that, and that should stop. I don't know. This is Uncle Hotep. I'm just a Negro from Exton, Pennsylvania, so that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you like my videos, please share. Patreon, PayPal. Donate, please. I appreciate it. Episode 65 of the podcast is up. Listen to it. Leave reviews. Follow me on Twitter, Handyman Uncle Hotep. And hopefully YouTube doesn't demonetize my video. Peace.